Fired over a luxury property scandal. The former Prasa board chairperson, Leonard Ramatlakane, says he wants to set the record straight. Transport Minister Sindiwe Chikunga, you'll remember she dismissed Ramatlakane from the board last month over the alleged unauthorized use of a luxury residential property in Cape Town, which was reserved for Prasa executives. Well, Mr. Ramatlakane joining us now to give us his side of the story. Mr. Ramatlakane, thank you very much for your time. Let's kick off the conversation with who authorized your stay at this company property, because the Transport Department says due process was not followed.
Well, Tolly, thank you very much and good morning to your viewership. First of all, I'm stunned when it is said that no due process was followed. What happened? There's a legal lease agreement that was signed by the acting property manager in the Western Cape, who has the authority, devolved authority from national to deal with the matters of property. So if you're asking who authorized it, it's authorized through the normal channel of a process of a lease. That official that is responsible in the Prasa property or call it, he will be the one that will look at it, including the involvement of the CEO of Crest. So the whole thing about not following due process is incorrect. Proper procedures was followed.
All right.
And I would not have, Xoli, just to end that one, I would not have embarked on an illegal process of entering into a property without a proper documentation and proper lease agreement that has been signed and authorized.
All right. So with that lease agreement, let's discuss how much was agreed that you would pay for your rental there. And I would like the name of this acting property manager. Well,
I can say to you now that so far in a 2.5 months, 3 months at the most, I paid as a rental in the order of 98,000 rand. At the beginning, because it was a short lease, it was in fact characterized as a short lease. All the money must be paid up front. And the lease policy document has been followed to the teeth here. It was not necessarily violated. The first payment I had to pay up front was 36,750. And then, of course, added on that, it was 23,062 and 50 cents. So those are the money that I pay up front, that I had to pay in order to stay there for 3 months. And I can say here for everybody to understand, when the matter was then publicized as a problem, I moved out. I moved out around about 11th of March. I moved out because I didn't want a further controversy to happen continuously there. So the authority was given through the lease signed by Mr. Museli Ntsiki, who is the acting property manager in the province, with appropriately devolved authority to do so.
So the reports suggesting that you paid 16,000 rand per month, are those reports false? Because what you are suggesting now is that you paid in the region of 37,000 rand for each of the 3 months that you stayed there. Am I hearing you correctly?
No, you get it. I paid. Remember, it's a short lease, so everything is calculated up front. It was calculated up front, and that calculation at the beginning came to 37,000 rand, which I had to pay before I get occupation. I paid that amount, as the money that I should have paid once off until I exit the property.
37,000.
So 37,000.
You paid
right?
37,000 upfront for the entire 3 months. Is that what you say?
For 2 months. 2 months I paid that amount. And then while I was in the lease in the property, I could see that the work that was being done is not complete. So I asked for extension until the end of March, which is going to be now 3 months. I was duly given that extension, and I paid 23,062 rand upfront. Right? So you can calculate how much I have paid. So the story about not paying sufficient money in terms of the market is incorrect. And I did say so in so many words before.
Yeah.
Now coming to the one issue again, then obviously there was a report that was tabled, which the report says market-related rent was not complied with. So it needs to be 38,000 rand more for market-related, because they said in this report that the market related in that area is in a region of 49,000 rand, which was wrong, incorrectly calculated, because the market rate there would have been in the order of 20,000 if you look at in terms of the evaluations that happens in that particular area. So they basically ramped up, they increased this in terms of that report. But even when that was so, I did not fight about it. I paid the 38,000. That is why I'm saying a calculation for me is 98,000. I mean, how do you pay 98,000 and there's still an issue about not complying? So from my side, probably I paid more than what the lease agreement has in fact suggested.
I'd be keen to know who gave you the information as to the rental that you paid, because your assertion is that you paid a market-related rental. So we're going to perhaps get that from you, but also linked to that question, Mr. Ramatlakane, is that you are the board, or you are the chair of the board at Prasa, and part of your duty, in fact, I dare say the entirety of the scope of your work as the board is to ensure that corporate governance is observed at all times. Now, people are going to say, if a Prasa board chair could flout processes like this, or could allow himself to be involved in such a matter, how can he be trusted that whatever his tenure was at Prasa, it was clean, it was above board?
Well, Xoli, can I just say to you that I've just explained, let me repeat this. I have followed due process fully, and I complied with the work, with the provisions of the rental policy, Prasa rental policy. I have not flouted that. I would not have done that. As I already indicated, that that was above board. The lease agreement is what I have in fact complied with. That was in fact clear from the lease agreement. What are my responsibility? What is it that I need to do, which I did to the fullest. Now, the things that comes afterwards, because there is the report that is the flawed report, which I will leave it there at the moment. The flawed report then suggested other things that actually this should have been this. Remember, Xoli, I must give you this information. That property has 4 rooms. 4 rooms meant to become a guest house. That means they're selling a room price per room at a particular time. Now, I then said I only need 2 beds, 2 rooms, in other words, 2 rooms for this 2 months that I must be calculated on. I don't want to hire the entire property. If they have anybody who wants the room to hire for the night, if they were going to be able to sell that, it would be the Prasa. They can always do that, because I did not want to hire a place or building or the square meters that I'm not going to use. They calculated for me, the department, the Prasa official, what these 2 rooms amount to. And they said, you're going to be paying for these 2 rooms that you have now been leased and hired, and that amount is X what you need to pay. I already told you about the 36,000, 23,000, and of course the 38. I already told you that that was determined in that particular process. And I have not created anything on myself. Now, I can say to you, this was beyond reproach. It wasn't, I mean, I can't, on my age, go and do something that is funny, shenanigans, for what reason? I have nothing to pay on this.
Tell me this,
but
Mr.
I can tell you.
Let me ask you this. I'm sorry, time is against us. Let me ask you this.
Okay.
Were you offered a discounted rate to rent this property, or did someone offer you a discounted rate and you subsequently accepted?
No, I didn't. I didn't ask for discount. All I said, I need 2 rooms, and the calculation of that rooms, 2 rooms, would amount to X amount of money per month. That's what I entered the lease on. If you read the lease specifically says they give the square meters, and they say this is what you are going to pay for. There was never a discussion anywhere in the discounted or requesting the discount. However, when I was told by the people that it might be characterized as the benefit, so I declared it. I declared it with the Prasa board, and I declared it with the company secretary. That if this is what it is, I'm willing to make good, to pay whatever it is said in terms of looking at the declaration. I didn't hide anything.
Okay, all right. Mr. Ramatlakane, can I ask you to indulge me here, because I need to take a break, because we need to then discuss what the way forward is for you. Let's take a break. When we return, we continue the conversation. If you're just joining us, we are in conversation with the dismissed Prasa board chairperson, Mr. Leonard Ramatlakane. Mr. Ramatlakane, let's pick up on what you say is a property that you rented at no discount, and over and above all of what you've told me, you have said that you made a declaration to the board because this would be seen as some kind of benefit. If you did not get any discount, and if nothing, if indeed everything was above board, were you at any point forced to pay back some monies owed? Because the understanding is that you had to pay back 38,000 rand. Am I correct?
Yeah, yes, you're correct.
Why did you have to pay back that money?
Because, as I said to you, there is a report that came out from the board side that suggested that what I paid was not necessarily in line with the market, and that the market would have been 49,000 rand as their calculation, and which then means that in what I paid, there is a balance. If I paid 12.5 by 3, there's a shortfall of 37,000 rand to pay market-related rent, which is at 24,000. That's what the report came out and said. And I did say to you the report is it's something that it's a matter for discussion another day. It's flawed because it did not take into account the current market-related rent in that area.
Yeah.
And in that area, the market-related rent is nothing about 49,000. Nothing. It's in the region of 20,000, 25. That's now the market-related price, which is what I paid. I paid 50% of the property. Let's get this clear. 4 rooms that is on sale, each room on their own. I elected 2. I said I need 2 rooms only and 2 beds, which I supply myself. There were no beds there. The place has been standing empty for the last 8 years.
Okay.
The only first tenant that was occupied that place was me on the request and the lease I signed.
All right.
I paid 50% of the property.
Okay.
Not asking 50% discount.
All right. I think we're going to get entangled in these figures if we continue any further with them. Let me ask you this question. What would you like to happen now? You have been dismissed at Prasa as a board chair. What is your next step?
Well, Xoli, this is unfortunate that has happened because the dismissal was based on the incorrect information or report. Or I would say that the minister has been misled on that particular front. Mm-hmm. But obviously the minister has taken that particular decision. I have said to the minister when I met her on the 4th of April that I will consult on that. I will consult legally on that particular matter. Mm-hmm. If indeed that report will be utilized for any other purpose other than what it needed to be done by Prasa board, not the ministry. I did indicate that I will consult legally. I have consulted legally. Mm-hmm. What will follow is that I need to take up this matter in using the different legal platform. So that's way forward, going forward from here.
I think I need that to be crystal clear. Are you saying that you are going to court in order to get yourself reinstated? Is that in essence what you're saying?
I am saying I'm taking up the incorrect conclusion of firing. I have consulted on that based on this particular report, and advised is that I need to use the existing mechanism and procedure to basically resolve this particular dispute, because I have not accepted that the firing was in line with whatever, if you call it a crime or crime that has been committed. Mm-hmm. I wrote at length, Xoli, to explain this particular matter. I think that I even cited that the minister was a deputy minister when certain things happen in Prasa. This is the first time, which seems like a heavy-handed approach. I cited that the previous board had, in fact, increased their own salary in terms of the payment. They have been asked to pay back. They have not paid back, but nothing has happened. Mm-hmm. And I also said, if you look at what we have inherited at Prasa as this new board, was simply dysfunctional organization. No train was running. We had to deal with this from 2020 to try and get back the tracks, the rail on tracks. And this is what we did. And this is what we, in fact, said, what we were asked to do by the Minister of Transport, we did that. If we look at the social compact, we comply with everything that we were asked to do.
Okay.
So, yes.
All right. So this is a very heavy-handed approach by the minister towards you, and clearly, on your part, you think that you've done sterling work. But as you are claiming abuse here, Mr. Ramatlakane, I can't help but not, think of a person like Mathangoye, who feels that the very same way you say you are being treated at Prasa, that's exactly how she felt, because she has since been cleared by an arbitration inquiry which sought, through the board that you led, you sought to kick her out of Prasa, but on top of that, you sued her for huge amounts of money. So why should people be sympathetic towards you?
No, I haven't asked for that, Polly. The thing is, I think it's two issues that we are dealing with now.
Yes.
The Mathangoya's issue is following a particular process. It's been dealt with. And we haven't sued Martha for all. What has been said is that the decision that was taken at Prasa when she was acting Group CEO was completely irregular. It cost Prasa in the order of 45 million rand. And that, obviously, the arbitration went through, and the arbitration said that is what is due to Prasa should be paid back. So I think if we want to have a discussion about that, which is a bit late because the papers have been filed, this matter is going through the appeal.
Yeah.
But I think maybe we could have that discussion separate from this one, particular one.
All right.
So because you were now linking this with what I'm going through, because I have different facts, Martha and Goya had different facts.
All right.
On a particular matter.
You make a fair point. Mr. Ramatlakane. I'm going to have to leave the conversation there, but safe to say that you are saying you are consulting legally. In fact, you have consulted, but as to the way forward, we're not sure where exactly you are going to go. Am I right?
Yeah, it's always like that. No, thank you very much.
Okay. All right.
I'm not getting him now.
All right. Thank you very much. Leonard Ramatlakane, the recently dismissed Prasa board chairperson.